Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Wine Wednesday. You got myself and your boy Huddie here, who will be in frame shortly with his Trading Isn't Hard song.
Shoddy.
He's back.
Sorry.
He's kidnapped Dom and switched places with him. Just kidding. Dom may join us about halfway through, maybe not. He's off with a lovely birthday dinner with his lovely wife, so, he might be here, he might not. I don't and wouldn't expect him to do that. So, just going to be us two, and Huddie's been out. I mean, how many weeks has it been since last Wine Wednesday, Huddie, for you? Like, at least 3, maybe?
I left August 22nd, so it's
Maybe 4.
it's the 24th.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably a good 4 full month. That's all right. But he's back, everybody. So, as always,
That's
the
crazy.
usual, like, subscribe, or answer some questions, and we'll ask them. We should do that. Do a little reverse where we ask you the questions. But, anyways, feel free to ask us questions, and we'll have answers. Most likely, not always, but sometimes.
Going red. I'm going red today because I'm red on the day.
Nice. I am red on the day too, but mine only has I can only have 2 colors. I only got this. Actually, well, I guess I shouldn't say that. I have like a variation, but the most is this orange or this light blue. We'll go orange because that's close to red. Because I am also red on the day.
Nice.
Yeah. How many colors does your have?
Oh, you know what? I totally lied.
Are you green?
I'm green on the day. I'm red yesterday. I'm still red from yesterday, but green on the day.
Okay, so red on the week possibly, or at least Tuesday, Wednesday.
No. Very
Okay.
green on the week.
And then yeah, I actually remember you did make a good amount of money on the first day back on one day. So
Yeah.
I agree. So what are we drinking?
Oh, today, I mean, I'm kind of like a healthy guys. I drank every day for a month straight, so I'm on a sober diet. I'm having a Topo Chico twist of lime. It's kind of like a beer.
There you go. Nice. Um, well, I had my first favorite wine of the season last week, but you weren't here. Can
Oh,
you
the Witch's Brew?
there you knew it. See, Dom forgot, but then
Of course.
I told him it's at Trader Joe's. They're back. I've already bought in 3. This is my
Wow.
second bottle, I think. But yeah,
I'll have to try it this season.
it's I would almost call it a dessert wine because it's just so sweet, but that's why I love it. It is just sugar in a wine glass, essentially.
I might hate it, but I will try it.
Yeah. As a wine connoisseur, you might drink this and be like, ew, this is terrible because it's not like, it's not the wine you'd expect. But if you just like sweet stuff like me and you want sweet wine, you're like, oh, this is that ish. This is that stuff. So, but
Well, to each
anyways,
their own.
so what even happened today? I mean, the markets kind of took a oopsie doopsie, halfway through the day.
Yeah. Wait, did they?
The
I
Nasdaq
left.
did.
I left pretty early, right after the stream this morning.
Right, right. Do you come? Do you leave all day though, or do you come? Like, what point do you come back? Because obviously you come back at some point for like covering your any shorts you have, and or maybe looking for some longs kind of idea, like just typical power hour stuff. Do you come back right power hour, or do you just come like last 15
To be
minutes?
honest, I just came back for the first time today since I left at 10:30 a.m. 6 minutes ago.
Wow. So you maybe covered from your phone. Is what I'm hearing.
I covered from my phone while I was at the sauna,
Very
and
nice.
I covered an hour late. I wasn't. I was like literally in the sauna for market close.
Right.
Because like honestly, there's rarely a situation where I want to trade from like I don't really want to push buttons afternoon Eastern. And there's like rarely a situation where I want to long something for a gap or overnight. And usually someone will text me about that and I don't even have to really know, or I can like look at our chat room like briefly.
Yeah.
And like if people are talking about the stock and I look at it real quick and it fits the criteria, like I can just buy it from my phone. So like
Sure.
the afternoon trading session is not where I make my money. And if anything, like for a lot of my career, it's where I gave back a lot of my profits in the morning. So I'm like much more of like a push buttons in the morning, make some money in the morning, or keep the position till close and sell it at close. And that works really well for me. So I really only trade for like 2 hours a day.
Which is great.
You know,
Yeah.
the thing that's bothersome about it is like I've seen you like hit some of those swing trades in the middle part of the day, and like I don't want to miss those.
Yeah, you're not there for. I mean, that's where alerts come into play. Where like if I was out and about and not my screens, setting alert. I mean, even at my screens, like there's just so much to watch. I kind of have to set alerts anyway. So I only have so many screens and way more swings than I have screens. So or charts, I should say. So setting alerts, whether at the desk or away from the desk, I think is
But like, how do
crucial.
you get ping? Like what? You get an email and then you have a notification on your phone that you have an email. Like,
I set my alerts on TradingView, and TradingView will, if you're as long as you're signed into the mobile app, you will get alerts either on your computer or both. They'll send you an alert on your computer if your TradingView is up, and then also sends you an alert like a notification on your phone. So you do get it. Um,
we're gonna have to set that up for me later.
yeah, I would highly recommend it. I think it's great. So
Yeah, so I don't really like come back for the afternoon. I don't really do midday scans. Like that's just like it used to be a part of my trading, and I just felt like it's more destructive and like time wasting than anything. Like the actions in the morning, I think it's like long or short. I feel like most actions in the morning, and then like occasionally there's a long in the afternoon, but like usually never a short.
yeah, that's a good point. You don't really not really entering shorts late. Maybe it's overnight long, which by the way makes me think of PDT because that's definitely how I got into them. I don't do them nearly as much now, but like back year one, year two, year three was like, you name it. If there's an overnight long, like I'd like to participate just to save a day trade. But news came out. I don't know the correct terminology. I probably should look this up to make sure I don't speak incorrectly. Where is it? I remember posted in the room. Yeah, FINRA passes motion to remove the $25,000 pattern day trading PDT rules for the SEC approval. So it's past FINRA, and then I guess it would just need to go to SEC or other way around. Like I know something else has to go through, like to make it official. As for when that is, I don't know. I've seen some people say later this year. I've seen some people say not as early until next year. But if that goes, that's a big change that Huddie or I were not so fortunate to not deal with. And we had to deal with it. So I don't know how that changes. I mean, I think what's the word? I think small accounts will blow up faster for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of a double-sided sword, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say they'll blow up faster, but then there also might be more opportunity when things do get hot because volume will naturally be bigger. Because when you think
Yeah.
about volume, some ticker might be trading 100 million shares in the day. And I think as a newbie, I used to think like, oh, that's 100 million fresh shares of people. When no, if it was enough, if it was like 10 big accounts, 10 different accounts that are just so big could just constantly be scalping shares all day long, and it leads to 100 million. But one person traded 10 million shares on his own, the other person traded 15 million shares on his own, and then 800 other people traded 8,000 or 2,000 shares each, and then all of a sudden you get to 100 million, right? So when you then remove that cap for small accounts, and something like 20,000, there's only 5,000 away from 25. Like that's not necessarily a small amount of money. Like someone who removes that cap and then can go in and out of stock with $20,000 and is a scalper and does it frequently without, say, just obliterating your account and blowing it up immediately. Like that could add a ton of volume to some of these small cap names. Which naturally I think will create some pretty cool moves and opportunity, but like how do you just agree with? Like it's a double-edged sword. That's the positive, but the negative is there's definitely people who will not know how to stop themselves and will lose their small account very quickly.
Totally.
More so than probably people already do. But and I don't know if that means when they change it, if there'll be a new limit, like will they go down to 2,000 or will it just be no limit? Because I can't imagine. Like brokers, I guess it's not really necessarily a broker's nuisance, but like imagine someone with like $25, just in and out, $1 a time, 100 times a day. I don't know if that's how feasible that is, but maybe it will be. I don't know.
I mean, it's interesting. I think I mean, like it makes me think like O2Cs might even get a bit.
That'd
That's
be
like a far
cool.
shot, but I feel like whenever small money has the access to trade more, like you see the cheapy stocks kind of get kind of a push because that's what they can afford.
That's a good point. That is a good point. They'd rather buy 10,000 shares of a 25-cent stock than 1,000 shares of a $25 stock. So that is a good point.
So I'm kind of just reviewing the market today. I guess the things that were somewhat interesting. I think relatively a pretty slow day. We had one gapping crap, whatever, like didn't really make a lot of money, didn't lose, so it's fine. Open, I'm seeing now in the after hours is in the nines. That's
Yep.
pretty impressive.
Open. There was a filing that Jane Street Capital but purchased like 6% of Open, or has already purchased it. So that's a pretty big name purchasing millions of shares of Open. I remember I
Who's
saw it.
Jane?
What's up?
Who's Jane?
Jane Street. I'm not incredibly familiar with them, but I've heard their name numerous times, and they're pretty big from what I remember. I can Google them
Look
again,
him up.
but
Jane Street Hedge.
how big is Jane Street? That's a simple Google. More than 3,000 staff, 5 offices across the United States, Europe, and Asia. Trade stocks in 45 different countries. Revenues of last year, annual revenues of last year were 20.5 billion. So they're big. They're big boys. Yeah, and then the next, how Google suggests questions. The next question is Citadel bigger than Jane Street? So people are already literally looking
Okay.
at, comparing something of Citadel. In fact, revenues at Citadel Securities hit 4.9 billion in the first 6 months of the 2024, while those at Jane Street hit 8.4. So so technically in terms of revenues, Jane Street is actually bigger than Citadel, which is actually kind of crazy to think about because everyone I think knows Citadel, but obviously not many people know Jane Street. But yeah, Jane Street just casually bought 6% of Open. So
Okay.
pretty big news if you're bullish. Which again, I don't doubt the Iran and Open's done. I just, for those who are in the room, know that I sold it on Monday because it broke, or it closed below the 10 SMA. But now it's back above it. So there may be a world I have to rebuy this, but I don't think it's anytime soon per se. Hopefully.
Your Hive is looking good in the after hours.
I did buy some Hive. I'm up 20 cents on that one.
It's
I
good.
had stopped out of OUST today. Unfortunately, I never trimmed that because I thought over 36 was going to look good. That didn't happen. But yeah, things are kind of coming in a little bit. I have a feeling something's going to stop me out tomorrow unless the market's super strong, which it might not be.
RGTI finished, all the quantums kind of finished red.
Yeah, they rolled over. So we'll see. It makes me think that not even the second half, really the last week of September might be the September everyone thought we were going to get, right? Like everyone, thinks September will be slow, including myself, but then it wasn't. And at some point, the momentum kind of ends, which last 3 weeks just straight up, it kind of has, at least going into this week. And so it wouldn't shock me to see a slower week or two just to kind of take a chill pill after such, crazy action. But maybe not. Maybe we just keep going. I'm just kind of guessing like everybody else. But Matthew says her birthday is tomorrow. What a sellout. Oh, dumb. So
I totally agree. By the way,
Probably celebrating a day early. Who knows? My wife and I do that for Valentine's Day. The day before or day after, we're like, screw it, going out on the actual day. It's insane. It's insane at restaurants.
it's pretty smart. Was that her idea or your idea?
Probably mine. I don't think it'd be hers, but
Sounds like
she
a
agrees
Kyle.
with it. She's like, yeah, you're right. I'm like, thank you. Fight the crowds on the most busy. The only reason I know that is because when I served, the 2 busiest days of the year were Father's Day and Valentine's.
I was gonna say Father's Day is pretty crazy too.
Yeah, so it was like those 2 days was like, be prepared to like just get rocked at work.
That sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, no, in the bad way. So now I know when I'm a customer, I'm like, let's not go out these days of the year. Kevin says, after a few profitable months of focusing on my process, setup, and journaling, it now feels like a waiting game. Nice. Was your experience similar to a year or two, or did you find ways to keep busy? No, I would say no. I think waiting is a big part of it, for sure. It can feel very counterintuitive, where you think you need to do something, but you actually are just fine doing literally nothing some days. Like you don't have to do anything. I mean, really. Like literally, other than, I mean, today I did very little. Right, I put the my Gap and Crap short on this morning, which we saw live, and then that was pretty much it. I pretty much watched. I watched. Nothing actually. I didn't actually do any trading. So if that's how you feel, like that's, people always say, like, and I'm sure you agree, Huddie, like profitable trading can be boring at times. Yeah, then you have your moments of excitement, but a lot of times it can genuinely be boring, and that is not a bad thing. Um, so
Yeah, I think they used to say like if you're having fun, you're doing it wrong, and like I agree with that. I don't agree with that. Like there are some setups that are very fun and like in the moment, like they're fast paced, they're actionable, and you can make a lot of money really quickly.
yeah.
Like kind of like an overextended gapping crap.
Hmm.
Overextended like on a 3 day move that's like gapping up on day three, where it's like you're shorting somewhere near the open, you have like a tight risk, and it just like drops like $1 and halts down. Like that's fun,
Yeah.
and that happens. Uh, but like predominantly, those aren't my trades. Like especially not me, right? Like you said, like you bought Hive at $4, shorted SFHS at 8, and then didn't push another button until end of day. I think trading for the most part is a waiting game. Like most days, I'm just waiting for a setup to come into my criteria, into my wheelhouse, into my box, whatever you want to call it. And then if it triggers, I push a button. And like I don't really push many other buttons after that. I'm always waiting. Um, I used to find like if you're like staring at your screens, like when I'm staring at my screen, staring at the level two, like trying to find like the perfect exit, or the perfect entry, like that's and I'm sweating, like that's what I'm doing it wrong. I used to sweat when I trade. I used to sweat a lot. I don't I think I gambled for a long time and just was like trying to do what everyone was doing to make money. And so like anything that was like parabolic, like I was trying to figure out how to short parabolic, and then like all of a sudden like breaks through my risk, and I haven't cut, and now I'm sweating. It's like
Hmm.
that used to be the situation I was in all the time. And with a variety of different setups. And that's wrong. Like, and you can make money doing it. Like I definitely did, but it's like work smart, not hard. And that felt like hard work and like a waste of time.
We had our fair share of that. I think back
Yeah.
on how maybe busy I felt, and there was plenty of that. And it's not to say I wouldn't feel that again. Again, if there's some like A plus huge setup coming around the corner, and I have to kind of push my maybe emotional limits with a loss or have to really focus up, then yeah, like it comes back, and I might be doing a lot of trading on that particular ticker. But or if we get a hot market, like I remember we were all busy during COVID, just because like how could you not? There was a setup.
That was busy.
Yeah,
There was no waiting during COVID. It was
yeah,
like
you couldn't
every
wait.
hour there was something.
Right, right. So it's like unless you're forced to not wait in those scenarios, which are very rare, then sure. But yeah, most times it's like probably 95% watching and waiting. Um, Unless you're a
Except
scalper.
for COVID.
There are scalpers who the strategies is farming a ticker all day long, and you know, more power to them. But that's not always, that's not our style at least. So,
COVID, it was like every 30 minutes there was a new stock breaking out.
oh, it was insane. I had to make a watch list of what I wasn't going to trade because there was too many. I had to actively decide, okay, there's these 20 tickers I can take tomorrow, and there's these other 10 I can't even look at. How do I decide which 10 are those? So I had 30 total, and it's like try to pick the 20 and throw out 10, and try to even picking 20 sounds insane, right? But like you tried to make it work, and even then you still had to be like literally conscious about the other 10 you were just going to willingly not look at, even though you knew you would probably leave money on the table because you would have needed,
Well, it was like the stocks that broke out last week were now first red days, and the stocks that didn't break out last week were now breaking out. And if they weren't breaking out, then they were having a first green day and bouncing off the lows. And then one over there was panicking. You had to buy the panic on those.
everywhere.
It was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely everywhere. Kevin says, nice. I know to stay out of the market, but not sure whether you try to learn more for examples. I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with while you're waiting and watching, like learning, you know. I think you cross the line, I think, when you go from doing nothing to then feeling like you have to do something. And again, feeling like you have to do something and then doing off and learning, great. Like I don't think you're ever going to go wrong learning new things. But when you let that feeling of needing to do something turns into trading things that you shouldn't be trading, like that's where you go wrong, right? That's when you start doing things off your process and your system and your strategy that then has you looking back at yourself, a day later and be like, why on earth did I just waste away X amount of dollars trying to make something happen when I could have done literally nothing? Right. So there's that fine line, El Jefe says Huddie looks different. Huddie be looking different.
I got a haircut
I did notice that as well. Hair's looking a little shorter. Did you get it, what, today? Yesterday?
today,
Today.
this afternoon.
There we go.
Part of the reason why I wasn't back for. Look, it's the new Euro Huddie. A lot's changed in the month, guys.
There we go.
I don't even feel like the same person anymore. I've seen too much.
You say that always, Bill. That's why you're a Frodo.
I can't go back. Can't go back to the way things were in June.
You can't go back to the old you. You've seen too much. But anyways, chat, you guys are a little quiet today. Again, we'll stick around. We'll just talk each other's ear off. I mean, Huddie, but if you have questions, feel free to ask them. Otherwise, we're just here chatting. Huddie and I played each other in fantasy football last week, and Huddie beat me. Not that I'm salty. Not that I'm salty about it, but feeling a bit defeated.
But did you expect to beat me? Like you're the Padawan, I'm the Jedi Master.
I mean, my team. I really was hoping for the the Ravens and the Lions game just really hit it home with a high-scoring game, and it was. But the Mr. Goff did absolutely nothing for me. Oh no, I'm thinking about a different game. I'm thinking about I lost both. No. I lost both to you and another guy, and the other team I had Goff, and he did nothing. And then I also was hoping for.
I had you hedged.
Yeah, and yeah, you had Jackson. I had Flowers. I was like, well, let's hope Jackson throws Flowers like at least 2 or 3 TDs. Turns out Flowers gets absolutely none of them. So that just.
But Mark Andrews got a lot.
Yeah, good thing I didn't play him. I actually no. Again, I played him in your game. And I didn't play him in the other team's game, and I lost there too. So it was like the worst.
Welcome to fantasy, man.
Yeah, the worst opposite decisions made to cost me. So let's hope we get some wins this week. But anyway, let's see. LFA says, did we talk quantum stocks yet? No, I mean we haven't really talked them much at all. I've mentioned them in my watch lists. Per the last few days, but I'm not really all that jazzed about them, to be honest. Like, again, I missed the longs. Huddie did mention at the beginning of the stream that they rolled over late day, which is true. But in terms of like what Huddie and I are going to do about it, nothing. Probably absolutely nothing. They're just, how would you describe them, Huddie? Like, they're just...
It's just like the most cutting edge technology that we've seen in the past 1,000 years, and it's insanely bullish right now. And it's just like it's hard to find a reason to want to be short. Like I'd much rather be on the side of the trend that's going up.
Sure.
It's just like they're real companies. They have great technology. Like the reason that I think short selling has such a big edge in small cap is because they're horrible companies with horrible balance sheets, with horrible revenues, with like no future prospect in sight, and they're being pumped up for some stupid reason, and the hype caught them, right? Like that is not what quantum computing is, in my opinion. And so it's like there's a lot more reasons for these to go up than down, and like you might see short like bursts of momentum to the downside because they get a little ahead of themselves, but like it's short-lived. It's not like you have a lot of room for error. I'm sure you can attack that, but like they're choppy on the way up, they're choppy on the way down. It's like the momentum is to the upside, the demand is to the upside. It just feels like a tough like game to play within. And I think there's easier setups out there for a short seller.
Yeah. The choppiness is what gets me, where they just don't. It's like, imagine if like because it's quantum, I've now like thought like in my brain, what if I could like picture a image of what quantum computing is in my brain. I think of like TV static, where it's like, so like the computer's constantly thinking, things are moving in the background. Like you just have all these numbers and codes and algos like running. And then I imagine that because that's how I view the trading price action of these things. Like they are just so much more choppy than any other runner you would get in small cap land. And so they trade that much differently. Like they're become even though maybe I would disagree with Huddie in the sense that at least some of these companies that are running are fundamentally awful, but they're not really. People don't care what they're fundamentally worth now. They're buying them for what they fundamentally think they're going to be worth in the future, and so they see this brand new technology as this awesome new thing, and so the way they trade is just not how we are used to trading them. They're trading incredibly choppy, incredibly, just erratic moves that we're not used to, or can even game plan appropriately for. So I have PTSD trying to short them, and I did it a ton last year, towards the end of last year, like December-ish, and I walked away green. But back to the question of talking about being busy, I was way too busy. I was having a headache daily trying to manage my risk and attack these things over and over and over again, that it really isn't worth it for me. So, we've grabbed our popcorn and had fun watching them go up. Unfortunately, I did not participate in the longs, but
we tried. We damn well tried.
And that's the other thing too. I tried like 2 or 3 times on all the different quantum stocks like months ago.
Dude, I was long RDTI from 12 saying this looks amazing.
Yeah, like we just couldn't
somehow
catch
I stopped
them.
that.
Stopped us out, couldn't catch them when the time was actually right, and here they are actually right, and yeah, we're not a part of them. So both longs and shorts, we have not had a kind, fun time with this sector. So I think we've waved our white flags and have stopped trying for the most part.
For this week.
Yeah. Let's see. How do you guys know what strategy to pick when you have so many choices? I mean,
you got to pick the one that's making you money?
Yeah.
That's like the best way to put it. Like there are ones that are obviously not making you money, and then there are ones that are making you money. And it's not about what your friend's making money on necessarily. It's about the one that you're making money on. Like, which one are you comfortable in? Like, exactly what the pattern criteria is. You know exactly the trigger. You know exactly what to risk every time. Like you like it is second nature for you to click those buttons. That's the strategy to pick. And then trade that one for like as long as milk it, and eventually you'll find another one that feels the same way.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't have much else to add other than you have to eventually find which one of those strategies is making you money. So that's the tough part about the learning curve, which is like you have to tinker and test a lot of different strategies because you have so many choices. But the moment you find any sense of success or comfortability with one or profitability with one, like then it's like put your tunnel vision on and remove all of their 30 options and then just stick to that one. When there's a sector momentum, and you are identifying laggards and the main ticker, how do you generally interpret that info? Is the laggard too weak and a candidate for a short, or is it a better risk reward for like the long? Maybe saying like it's a late play kind of idea. That's a good question. Sector Momo has changed since Huddie and I first started trading, and I think we feel the same in that I really don't like it anymore. I shouldn't say I don't like it. I just don't like it as much as I used to, because right to your point, Kevin. Like when there was a true Sector Momo in small cap land, there was the leader, and then there was all the sympathies. But the cool part was there was no laggard sympathies. They were all running exactly, almost in not I wouldn't say perfect unison, but in very close unison with the leader. So it was like trading all of them. And so, of course, yes, you would trade the sympathy because once the leader died, the sympathies got crushed a little bit more than the leader because they were sympathies to begin with. When that exactly stopped, I think the last true sector of that was the oil sector, Huddie, would you say?
Yeah.
Like 2022, which sucks because 2023, I think, had a sector of AI, 2024 did, and 2025... can't remember we've had a true sector yet.
I think we've seen it with like a Chinese. I remember like not this February, but the February 2024.
Mm-hmm.
I made a lot of money on Gap and Crabs that month because there was like a Chinese sector of like a bunch of crappy like there was a week where every other day there was a new Chinese stock gapping up like 500%.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was like a week and a half. That was the most sector something that we've seen since the oil and gas stocks.
Right. But it's still different in the sense that like you have like phases, right? So even quantum right now, like yeah, you have the top 3 QBTS, RGTI, and INOQ running, but the sympathies, if this was 5 years ago, like QUBT would be a sympathy, and it is, but again, it's running differently. QS would be a sympathy, which it is, but it's running differently. Like imagine all those sympathies running with the INOQ leader, but doing it in a much more fluid and like predictable fashion and not so irregular like what we're seeing now, so that when the leader does die, it's very easy to get short the sympathies, where now it's like, okay, I know Q might die, but QUBT might become and do its own thing for the next week and just go up. So it's not necessarily so much that like, and I guess that's how I guess I'm trying to say that's how we interpret it. So to your part of the question, yes, laggards can be good in a sense. Like clearly anyone who bought QUBT the moment RGTI got hot, like for days you were sitting there like, what's going on? What's wrong with this? And then eventually it went. So it kind of was like a little bit, I wouldn't say it's entirely free money, but it was pretty obvious for those who had conviction. And I actually regret not taking it or thinking more hardly on that idea. But you do have to be cautionary because there are some laggards that just don't go at all, right? They go a little bit, but not nearly as much as you think they would if we were in a sector momentum market that was like 5 years ago. So it's changed, but yeah, hopefully that answers your question or gives you some insight of how we interpret it. Because at least in swing trading for me, like the true laggards in swing trading, like I don't even want to buy the laggards because the laggards, if they aren't leading, then they're not going to go. Or if they do go, they're going to offer lesser of a return than the leader in the swing world would take you. So at that point, it's like it's way better just to get and be a part of the leaders already, even if you're late, than joining a laggard. You know, like perfect example of this is being a part of LEU or OKLO. Like I'd still rather be a part of those two names than go buy SMR, right? All three of them have ran together in the past, but SMR became a significant laggard in the last month or so. And so therefore it's significantly behind than what OKLO or LEU has done because it's become a laggard, right? Unless I'm wrong, but I don't think last time I looked at it, it was, it's not even at all-time highs. It's actually well off its highs, and OKLO and LEU are much higher. Because they're leaders. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah. They don't make sectors like they used to.
Yeah, unfortunately not. Nikita says, you see the video of Shkreli arguing with the guy that is long all the quantums and he's yelling at him and it's all a scam. Awesome video I'm sending to you if you haven't. I have seen it. I haven't watched it, but I did see like a clip of it. And it is pretty funny that they somehow got. It looked like Shkreli got invited on the podcast or whatever segment he was doing, and they start arguing. And the thing is, like, what Shkreli is saying is like, there's some points he makes that are valid. Like the companies that are up for certain reasons and how they're up, or fundamentally what they're worth now, yeah, they're not. It's not justifiable, like at all. Like QBTS has. I mean, we can look this up. We can just do this live. Right? What's a QBTS? Actually, I can just look at it. I don't know why I'm going to have to Google it. Just go to BAMECC. We're going to go to filings real quick. QBTS. Last earnings report, which was the second quarter of this year. We're going to look at their revenues. This is in thousands. So that's got to be, what, $3 million in revenue? In the last 3 months, so call it, right? That's 3 million. So that's what, $12 million in revenue of a year. And then you look at QBTS's market cap, $9.5 billion. So it's only trading at a casual. Hold on, we'll get there.
1000x.
Yeah, casual. 816 times revenue. So yeah, fundamentally you can drive yourself nuts, which is kind of the thing that Shkreli's been doing, which like I get it. I get where he's coming from. But like Huddie said, like that's not really the point, right? People don't buy it for what they are now. They're buying for what they think it will become later. And yes, that doesn't last forever. So of course there's going to be periods where these probably all drop 50% off their highs because again, once the hype or the idea leaves them, then yeah, people will stop caring what they will become. All they will start caring about is that they're losing money. But again, that could take a very long time to happen and play out. And even longer than that, some of these companies will become who people think they are and will become some very successful, businesses per se. But again, that might be years away. So trying to, again, both the people trying to make that argument in those clips are kind of just getting nowhere because it's the market. Like the market's going to do what it wants when it wants to. So, but it was funny. They were arguing and it's just good to see participants lose their mind over stuff like that. Huddie, do you think it's easier to trade large caps Or wait, do you think trading large caps is hard and small caps is easier?
When I point to the sign, I don't think it matters what you're like trading is not hard. Like as long as you have a strategy and you can follow it. Like the hard part is your mental area, is your discipline, is your responsibility, is like that. That's kind of the hard part because like no one's gonna tell you not to do something stupid, and you're probably gonna do something stupid. And like that, I think that's why most traders lose. Like I've been doing this for 10 years and I know myself, right? Like I know what it was like to be an unprofitable trader. It's not the setup. It's not like it's hard to wait for something to trigger. Well, that might be the hard part. Like it's hard to wait. It's hard not to anticipate. It's hard not to scan midday and like try to find something to watch. And then like someone just talked about in the chat, like B talk blowing up, right? Like there's a stock right now, B talk. It's a dollar 43.44. Like this doesn't matter. This like there's no trade here, right? Like there's no reason to be watching this stock move the way that it's moving right now. And I think like that's the hard part. Like people just like are watching scans all day and then they are watching chat rooms and then someone says something about a ticker and then they buy it or they short it and then they lose money or they give back profits because you don't have a strategy or you don't have discipline to say no. Like I think that's the hard part, right? Like because I really think like the strategies at least that I follow are pretty goddamn simple. You just have to be just like disciplined enough to stick to them and not like think that you have an ego and that you know things that you don't. Um, what I will say to answer your question more specifically is like I think small caps are riskier than big caps. I think there's more risk involved when you're trading small caps. Like you don't have and there's probably like less reward to some extent as well, right? It's a give and take, right? Like in small cap, you have a lot more offering. So if you're long biased and you get offered on, that's bad. You also have thin low float. So if you're short biased and you're short and stock goes from 10 to 50, like that's bad. And if you can't cut a loss, like that's awful. Uh, you don't really see that situation in large caps so much. Like even in large caps, like you have offerings, but like it barely affects the stocks. Like I mean, some will affect, but like a lot of times they like dip, they soak, and they come right back. Uh, because like the share count's so high that like it's really hard to destroy the structure of the stock. So like offerings aren't really like the worst thing to be scared of, especially when you're dealing with large cap, even like with the like more stable companies. And then you also don't have thin share structures, so you don't see a large cap go from like 50 to 100 in a day. It happens very rarely that happens, and it happens more like slow paced. It's not like halting, and like you're effed. So it's easier to maintain the risk side of the equation when you're trading large caps than it is with small caps. But you're also not going to make, 50, 60% a day like you can with small caps as often. So
Yeah.
I
The
don't know. I
trade-offs.
don't think either of them are hard.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add is just that penny stocks or small caps can, I think, in my opinion, be a little bit more predictable in the sense of like the big picture. Like we all know 90% of small caps are going practically to zero, right? But again, the in between that point from where it is now to zero can be different, and so or can be a lot of movements in between that time. But they're more simpler in the sense of like, yeah, Apple, you don't have to care how many products Apple has, or you have to care, I should say, or you have to care how many analysts are saying what and what news comes out on this particular large cap. Whereas small caps, there could be literally no product and it's just a vehicle. So there's differences, but right, like what he said, it's really a matter of style. Someone might like that for large caps and think that small caps like that makes no sense and they think it's stupid. But for me, I always saw small caps a little bit more predictable, but it doesn't necessarily make it trading any easier or harder. It's now just how do you position yourself with your personality and that new strategy, if that makes sense.
I just watched Kyle pick up large cap trading overnight and make a stupid amount of money in 4 months. And he literally just watched like an hour of a YouTube video,
Just an hour.
just an hour. And but like the thing is like why is he able to do that? It's again like trading's not hard, right? Like as long as you can follow a system, like have a pattern, follow a system, know the rules applied to that system, the black and whites, the non-negotiables, and like just be a responsible, disciplined trader, and like that's the key, right? Like um so like I don't know, like large caps or small caps, like Kyle does very well on both, right? And in the few samples that I have on large cap swing trading, like I'm not losing a lot of money and I'm making money. not having like anywhere near the success of Kyle, but like it's not hard. It's not hard to identify charts and hit the trigger when it's there.
Yeah,
I would say
absolutely.
the hardest thing is discretionary trading. Like what Dom does is really, really difficult for me. Like trying to anticipate that a breakout's coming and then have to try it like 4 or 5 times because you're chopping up in the middle of no man's land. Like I that would rack my brain. I don't know.
Yeah, like you're like scalping, you know, I think it's tough.
What?
Like if you're scalping, like
Yeah, scalping seems tough to me. Shorting parabolics, I think, is a tough strategy. Like that, I think of it as like not stocks, but think of stocks as like strategies, right? Like our strategies hard. I think there are more difficult strategies than others. There are some strategies that like a parabolic short, like I don't know. I don't know how to do them, but I imagine you have to be able to read level two, right?
yeah,
And at a very in a very quick amount of time make a decision and be very ready to cut a loss if you're wrong because it can blow through. Like that can be very difficult because like the risk, like you can size in tight and then you can get blown out of the water. And you can be absolutely wrong. And then you could like maybe want to fight it, right? Like that's going to put yourself in a hard situation. If you're trying to buy a breakout and you're not willing to wait for the breakout because you think the risk reward is going to be horrible at the breakout level, and you're buying and selling in between chop for 5 days straight, and then the breakout comes, you don't have a position. Yeah, that's tough because you put yourself in a bad situation. Uh, it's hard to do that. But if you focus on like again like patterns with rules and non-negotiables, then it becomes a lot easier. It becomes a lot slower. It becomes a lot like a waiting game, like the person said earlier. And then it like it's just hard to like really lose that bad. You just gotta slow it down.
there you go. I agree. Um, Dylan says, Kyle, on Kuomagi tile or Kuomagi swings, have you gotten a feel for when you like to do the initial trim? Q says 2 to 3 days, but often feels premature. OUST, for example, I have a question for regarding risk too. Well, feel free to ask the risk question because we'll get to it by the time we.
Like I just want to like interrupt you right now.
Sure,
Like again, know the rules, know the non-negotiables, right? Like I haven't studied that much of Q. And so please correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle.
sure.
But is it 2 to 3 days or is it 3 to 5 days?
I was going to say that it's 3 to 5.
So like that is the issue, right? I just got chills. Like it's such a good point right there, where it's like know the rules, know the non-negotiables, and then a person asks a question, they go, "Q says 2 to 3 days." Well, in fact, he says 5 days. Like I don't know where you got two from, right? And it's like that bit of like irresponsibility is a big like thing in your trading. Like you could take that small little concept and broaden it across like tons of different avenues and like find that same error in the thinking, right? So like the definitions matter, the non-negotiables matter, the rules matter, and like you cannot get them wrong. That is a big no-no. That's going to make it difficult. Now
Right.
continue.
What I mean now further that saying, which is yes, I have been following that pretty well. 3 to 5 days, I'm trimming something. Now, in terms of how I'm doing that trimming, that is a little bit of discretion where it's like, am I trimming right out the open on day 3? Am I waiting for day 5 on all of them? I've been mixing it up. I've been trying to find what works for me because it's been a mix. It's been on day 3, it's been on day 4, it's been on day 5. As of now, I have a couple positions that are on day 5 or going into day 6, and I haven't trimmed yet. So technically, yeah, to Huddie's point, I'm breaking a rule. OUST today, perfect example. Like I was on by day 3 and 4, it was up enough for me to lock in, not a big profit, but a small one. And then I would have moved my stop to break even, and I would have got stopped out for break even. And so unfortunately, I didn't do that. And so today I got stopped out at low of day of my original day I bought, which led to a loss. So again, you kind of break the rules, you come out with a more negative outcome, which is a full-size loser versus maybe a actually small profit because I trimmed and then stopped out for break even. So I'm tinkering a little bit. Obviously, so far, going outside of that 3 to 5 day rule has hurt me on this one position. I have like 2 others that I haven't done that yet, but I think one of them I will immediately recruit myself and do and trim tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing. So if you are going to trim within 3 to 5 days, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, do I sell immediately? And it's also a feel, right? Like, so I spoke to another good swing trader that I've met through this process, and he has his own system. And he's like, I try to trim as little as possible. Like if I'm super convicted about a trade or have a deep fundamental understanding of the company, he's like, I try to trim way later than 3 to 5 days. You know what I mean? If that works for him, that's great. But again, I'm too new to really change a whole lot. Again, I'm trying to, bounce around within the parameters of the strategy, right? Like back to the box analogy for those who have heard that. Like if you want to hit a bullseye and here's your kind of target, like you can kind of hit anywhere in the box and still be profitable. But the better you are to the middle, probably the more profitable you're going to be. So I'm still trying to bounce around in here to see what works. But, doing that is what's important, is that you're still in here, right? And the moment you get out of there, which I guess like today on OUST, you could argue, hey, I tried to push it and I ended up hitting way outside of the target completely. So anyways, I feel like I'm rambling on, but hopefully that makes sense. Then
I think just be consistent in your approach. Like it's like the person you're talking to that like doesn't even trim. Like I bet you that's a seasoned swing trader who like has seen enough to know what he likes and what he doesn't like, right? Like
right.
if you haven't traded it 1,000 times, then like pick day 3, pick day 4, pick day 5, stick to it, and like be happy. Like you don't need to be perfect. You just need to follow the rules. Like that, like it's a nominal difference, like trying to time it, right? So pick either end of day 3, beginning of the day 3, maybe it's day 4, maybe it's 25% on day 3 and 25% on day 4, 15% and 15%. Just pick something and be like incredibly consistent with it so that you can like try to achieve profitability. And then once you have profitability, like go back and review. And after like a year and a half, like augment, optimize, figure it out. What works best for you? Like what are conditions that seem right? And then that's your discretionary brain kicking in. But like keep it simple, stupid, for as long as you can.
I love it. I agree.
That's the key.
That is
The
the
key.
key.
Like how many times have like Jack like how many times Jack like given a webinar and said like just dude, I'm an idiot. Like I try to keep it as simple as possible. And like that's what works. Like I have friends that are like would call themselves like very below average thinkers and they make tens of millions. Why? Because they keep it so simple. And that's how they flourish. They don't overthink it. They don't overanalyze. They're not paralyzed by like thoughts, emotions, feelings. And it doesn't come to them.
Um, and then a bunch of styles with talking about the large cap versus small cap, easier thing. Yeah, small cap crap. Small caps do crap and drop more excessively than Mag 7, of course. I mean, Mag 7 literally pulls the market with it. Gap and Craps literally got their name for a reason, Flashnet says, I love how Kyle is translating his short game into an ultimate swing game. Freaking awesome and inspiring. Thank you. I appreciate it. I am oddly also inspired by myself.
I'm inspired.
If that sounds weird. Like I'm
crazy.
Yeah, like I'm really, I mean, we talked about it very briefly in Good Morning Aztec this morning, but I mean, really, it's been 4 or 5 months, and I feel like this is already like my thing. And of course, I have much more to learn and keep improving and gaining experience. So by no means am I taking that just and running with it, because I get the reality of it all. But yeah, it almost feels like I was playing football all my life, which I have. Let's put it this way. I was playing basketball all my life, so let's stick with that. Like the small cap trading was like I was playing basketball all my life, and then I found football. And I was like, and like turns out he was a star from the beginning. I don't know, but like it does feel a little bit. I don't want to say not out of body experience, but it does feel like it's weird. It is a little odd how well things have gone to start. So, Huddie, how was Turkey? How was the overall trip?
Turkey is a beautiful place. Everyone should go visit. They have phenomenal meats. I love the kefta. It's a great place. It's beautiful.
The kefta.
And the people are amazing. I love talking to the locals, and it's just amazing place. They've really done a lot of good things there in the past 20, 30 years. And it's a very visitable place to go.
Would you say you like the Greek people or the Turkish people more?
Well, they're one used to own the other, so they're not too different from each other. I personally like the Greeks more, but the Turkish people are great as well.
Okay, because that was my biggest, not my biggest takeaway. One of the takeaways I really liked from my honeymoon, which is like I loved Greece for the people. They're just super friendly. I genuinely didn't feel out of. I don't want to say it wasn't like Greece was Americanized by any means. Like I don't want to say I felt in America, but in terms of feeling safe, like at home, that's how I felt. I was like, I don't feel out of place at all, you know, which was pretty cool. Anyways, then Flash says, love how you broke it down in a recent Clover video. Huddie concise, disciplined approach. This is key. We agree. That's absolutely it. That's all the questions we've got so far, and we're coming to the end here. So, but and actually, After Hours is about to close in 3 minutes as well. Nothing's really.
Dude, what a call on Hive.
Hive's going. It was a rough start for those who watched Hive. I bought the tie, and then literally minutes later, it was like, I guess I'm gonna stop out. Didn't, because it held low a day. And what do you know now? Now we're up 5%. But that's the tough part, though, because tomorrow it could be crap, and I could be down and actually stop out tomorrow. But who knows? The reason I felt good about this one because it was just in the AI data center space, and that space is cranking. Absolute most bullish sector in the market right now. Like literally, the Nasdaq crapped itself, and almost every. Not every, but almost every AI data center stock does not care and is literally just trucking along, just continuing it. So it's cool to see. But anyways, if there's no other questions, we'll give another 30 seconds or so. We'll close it out a little bit early. Well, it is almost time anyway, but we will close it out.
All right, cheers, guys. Thanks for coming.
I gotta finish my wine here.
Do you have one glass the whole Wine Wednesday?
You know, I thought I might have finished, but I do have a little bit left in this bottle.
That didn't answer my question.
Ask it again.
Do you have one glass for the whole Wine Wednesday?
Every stream on Wine Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How many glasses do you pour?
I don't think I've ever actually re-poured myself like I'm currently doing right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Me and you were different.
Well, I'll never forget the first Wine Wednesday ever. I don't even know if we have that recorded. It's got to be recorded, but I remember you.
What'd I do?
I think you just drank the whole bottle of wine like very quickly, and by the end of the stream, we were just like there was a question being asked, and I would answer it, and then Dom would answer it, but in between answering, you would and not in a rude way, but you would just interrupt because of your you were so excited. You're like, all right, hold on, and you and you'd go off to a whole other tangent, and then bring it back in. He goes, all right, sorry, continue, and then Dom would answer, hold on. And it was really freaking funny.
I think I made a rule after that only three glasses per stream.
It was too funny, and now I don't know if you've drinking that much since the first episode, but it was very funny. But alrighty, no new questions. All right, thanks everybody. We'll be back at you again the usual time tomorrow, 8:45 Eastern. Huddie is flying again, not to Turkey, but to somewhere else. So me and Dom will holding it down. And we'll be going over the gappers for you tomorrow morning, and then a webinar on Friday with Huddie, and that's the week. So have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night, and we will catch you guys next time.